Welcome to the Deanna Yu Show, and I have a great show for you today. I have a diverse show. You'll be surprised what you find on this show. Right now, I have the honor and pleasure of introducing you to the Vice President of CCC TV, David Valley. And David has just recently collaborated with us with Network Video Productions on a project. And I'm so pleased to have you on the show, David.
Thank you.
So David, tell me, what does CCCTV stands for?
Well, it's an acronym that would stand for Canada, China, Cultural Television.
It's a mouthful, eh?
It is. That's why we changed it down.
That's correct, that's correct. But apart from the vice president, you're also a host.
I am.
You host your own show. You're bilingual as well.
Yeah, that's true. I am. I learned Mandarin on my own, actually, when I lived in China about 4 years ago. And I just taught myself how to speak, and then I majored in it when I came back to Toronto and moved on from there. And CCCTV brought me on with this.
Why don't you just welcome our guests and all the audience in Mandarin?
What do you, well, just
talk, yes.
Just do it. 感谢你们收看我们的国际的节目，感谢你们收看，谢谢你们。
What did you just say?
I just said thank you so much for watching our television show. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about what we do at CCCTV. Now, CCCTV is out in Markham.
It is.
It is in Markham. And you have, you're based on Mandarin and Cantonese and a bit of English, but
Yeah.
you just converted to more Mandarin, is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Why is that? Is there in the community?
Okay, if I had to guess, this is what I hear and what I know. The reason why we focus predominantly more on Mandarin and, 10% English, 90% Mandarin, is because Fairchild Television is the predominantly Cantonese in the market in Canada, and it's difficult to compete with that because they've been here for over 20 years, and we've been in business for about maybe a little over 3 years. So it's tricky to compete with something that's been grandfathered for so long. So since there's no Chinese television station that is up to par in the Mandarin sector, and we do come the highest when it comes to that, which is why we focused all our efforts on the Mandarin side of things.
Now, what's unique to you, or may not be unique to your channel, is the fact that you will also go back to mainland China. You associate with mainland China. You're not only local, you're international back home.
Yep,
Is that correct?
that's
How does that
correct.
work?
Well, we've put stuff, our television shows, mine in particular, on something called Youku, and that's the Chinese version of YouTube. And we have partnerships with that, how do I say it, with that particular website. And with that, a lot of people view our television shows this way. We are trying to collaborate with the government, but the government has its own sanctions on what gets shown and what not gets shown. So it's every single television station in China is controlled by the government. So we have to be as cooperative and as understanding as much as we can be.
Absolutely. What are the stations, the channels there? Because you're on Rogers and Bell 5 as well.
We do.
So what's the station numbers or channel numbers?
For Rogers, it would be channel 823, and for Bell, it would be 728.
Now, you're 24/7 in terms
We are.
of the content.
Yeah.
And, you do, like I said, we do have the English content, and that's where we come in here as well, where we will also help you. I mean, one of the partners that you have to
That's
provide
right.
that English content.
Correct.
On a different note, you're also a businessman.
I am.
Because this is not all about CCCTV, it's
No,
about
no, no,
David
no.
as well.
Absolutely not.
So you have a business as well, and what is your business?
Originally, I owned a company, and I still do, called the Valley Organization. And what that does is it helps people find jobs in China as ESL teachers. And I have many different partners that help me out. So more or less, I work with Beijing, Shanghai, Tianjin, Guangzhou, the Sichuan province, and I help many different schools find different teachers, native English speakers predominantly. And then there are others from like Europe and South America that can speak English that also want jobs in China, and I help them get work there too.
Is that a huge business?
Yeah,
It's growing?
It's a growing, well, there's 1.3 billion people in China, right? And a couple million of them want to learn English. So it's a very vast market to service in that aspect. And the ESL market in China is like a $1.3 billion industry. So when you tap into that and you're serving a couple million of them, yes, it is quite a big business.
I know my nephew, as I mentioned to you before, my nephew from Trinidad was in Japan.
Okay.
Teaching English.
Yeah.
Now he's in a scholarship in England. So and he was there for a few years as well. So I do have neighbors back home who they seem to prominently go to Japan for some reason, as
Yeah.
opposed to Hong Kong or China and some of the other countries?
Japan is very hyped up in the aspect of how the Japanese are absolutely in love with foreigners. Like Japanese and Chinese people are very, very different in the aspect of how they treat foreigners. Chinese people, they are very accepting. Japanese people, they're also accepting, but they're also very xenophobic. And what I mean by that is they don't associate really mentally and in their hearts with anyone that is not Japanese.
Oh, that's not correct.
Yeah, it is true. So, I mean, I don't say that in a racist aspect.
Oh, no, not at all. We wouldn't.
I'm just being, like, that's just how the Japanese are. They really thrive on who they are as people. They trust their own. Even the Prime Minister of Japan, he speaks no English whatsoever. He just speaks Japanese, and he always needs a translator whenever he goes into the UN or when he meets with the president or whatever that may be, because they're so bound on their culture. They don't feel the need to, really diversify in any other way.
And that would go for many cultures in any case.
Sure,
Lots of cultures as well. I mean, it's not one or the other. So we're not, just to make sure people understand, we're not here to discriminate or anyone
Absolutely not.
whatsoever. But every culture has its own way of thinking. Absolutely. Even the Caribbean people have their own way of thinking too as well. As you know, since you've been talking about the Caribbean, let's get back to the station as well. When we sat down and started this whole project, we realized that you're not different to what we are. We're looking for the same thing.
We are.
There's so many commonalities in the Chinese, and we have a lot of Chinese in the Caribbean, as you know.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, absolutely. And our food is very similar to the food back home as opposed to the traditional food here, the commercial food. But going back to saying that, it's amazing how we're so far apart, but we have so many things in common.
It's true.
We shop in the same supermarkets, we eat the same food, just cooked in different ways.
It's true. Yeah, same spices, same styles. A lot of influence. The influence is there, but your traditions would probably still stay the same.
And in Trinidad, some of the foods that we eat, we actually call it by the correct Chinese name, which is like chow mein, which is vegetables, chow pai kin, and chicken. So I grew up with that, knowing the common names because we used to go to all the time to different restaurants.
Okay, yeah.
What is the CCCTV looking for in terms of exploring more in the English and, maybe it's a crossover there? How could we help you?
What we want is we want more exposure for Western people to more understand Chinese people.
But you came to the right place for that one.
Chinese people have been closed off for such a long time. No one really understands who they are. China didn't open its doors to the general public only until 1979. So, it's really tricky, and these people, they've closed off because they didn't want to share their secrets with the outside. They didn't want to share their culture because they just didn't want anyone perverting it, I guess, if that's the best way to put it. But China has grown in the aspect of where they want outside help. They want people to understand them. They want to have a good presence in the world, and they do want to have their foot in everything, and CCTV represents that interest where they want Western people to really understand who they are and to understand the Western worldview, and at the same time for them to also understand you guys as well too.
Well, it's funny you should say that because recently we have been doing a lot of work with the Confederation for the Greater Toronto Chinese Business Association. Yes, that's a mouthful.
Okay.
With the 4 associations in Toronto, in the GTA that is, which is the Mississauga, Scarborough, Richmond Hill, and Toronto. There's many events, and we have been there with them. And they're so welcoming and warm and inviting, and they keep thanking us for being there. So thank you so much, Catherine Miao and Kit Wong and the whole group there for helping us, really welcome us there. It's a really nice thing to see that the doors are open for us and how we could communicate, and of course now working with the Chinese station as well makes it a little bit easier where we can really get Chinese and English content for you guys.
Yeah, so I mean, Chinese people will be very welcoming to anyone who wants to learn. Bruce Lee was actually the one who pioneered this one. When he came to America during the 60s, he didn't want to share, how do I say this? No one wanted him to share Kung Fu with anybody because that was considered to be secret. And he said, I'll share with anyone who wants to learn. And as time went by, this type of mentality got passed on, and Chinese people do want to share who they are and keep going on from there.
Is that the same thing like Tai Chi? That there was, it's like a secret, technique too as well?
Well,
or
Tai
that's
Chi is a form of Kung Fu. There's many different types of Kung Fu. There's Wushu, there's Wing Chun, there's Tai Chi. There's Shaolin Kung Fu. There's many different types of Kung Fu that exist in everything. And with that being said, Bruce Lee specialized in Wing Chun. That's a very, very different, it's like how do I say it? It's a close combat type of Kung Fu. And you particularly use your hands in that one. Wushu would use their legs.
Is that like Jackie Chan? Which one Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan does both Wushu and Wing Chun, and he combines the both.
We can't have this conversation without mentioning Jackie Chan.
Oh.
Of course, definitely so, definitely so.
Yeah.
But David, I want to say, it's been a pleasure, working with the station. There's so much we're learning, on your side and my side as well.
Likewise.
And, it is a collaboration where the East meets the West, if you want to put it that way as well, which is a very common phrase. What do you want to say out there to everyone, your viewers in for CCC TV and everyone else out there?
In English or?
Both. I would not have it any other way. Let's start with English first. I don't know what to say.
Sure. I really hope that, how do I say this? To everyone that watches this, I really hope that everyone enjoys and watches and understands Chinese culture better and enjoys it. So thank you so much for watching. 希望通过这部片子更加让你们了解中华文化。感谢你们收看，谢谢。
Well, thank you so much, and it was such an honor, day, and thank you for being there when we
thank you.
when we signed off on it. I should have you had that picture with me.
I wish we had
when
that.
We signed off on that, and it's going to be a great journey, both of us, and a great relationship, as you know. And I want to thank you and Patrick and everyone else at CCTV for welcoming us.
We're all grateful.
Yes, thank you.
Willow Springs traditions originated from the 16th century, where the Testa family began winemaking practices. Their techniques have been passed on for generations, and through Willow Springs have made Canada home to their unique Italian recipes. Above the Oak Ridges moraine, Willow Springs Winery is inspired by its spring-fed pond, historic willow tree, and the surrounding atmosphere, which is both beautiful and serene. The unique experience at Willow Springs is complemented by their quality grapes in the 11-acre vineyard, freshly planted and carefully maintained. The wines themselves are crafted with passion, along with recognition from the Vintners Quality Alliance of Canada, have won numerous awards, adding to the overall prestige. Willow Springs high-quality wines offer a lasting impression with a rich taste, as exemplified by their award-winning 2010 Testa Pinot Noir, containing Ontario's finest grapes. As with the Pinot Noir, their red and white wines offer an exquisite variety of flavors, with lingering aromas and rich layers, making them irresistible and the perfect choice for every occasion. In addition, Willow Springs ice wines are also well recognized, with their 2007 Vidal ice wine obtaining a silver medal at the 2012 Royal Wine Competition. Bold, yet surprisingly smooth, this Vidal makes for a perfect dessert wine through its apricot and peach accents, along with subtle touches of honey. Willow Springs Winery makes for the perfect weekday or weekend quick getaway, being only a short distance from the city. Whether you're planning a company banquet, birthday party, intimate wedding, purchasing gifts, or just stopping by to witness the beautiful scenery and enjoy some wine tasting with friends, your experience at Willow Springs will be an unforgettable one. Willow Springs Winery. Minutes away, miles from ordinary.
Welcome back, and I'm here with Leyla, Razeghi, and Leyla, Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Leyla, you wear so many hats. I mean, you are an event planner, you're a business consultant, you're a model, I'm going to say.
Well, thank you. I wasn't aware of that one.
Oh, you know what? We took out some pictures here the last time.
Oh,
it was
yes.
amazing. And
Oh,
we had no
yes.
makeup on. I remember that very clearly. So tell us, what do you do in terms of a business consultant? Because there's so many people who say they're life coach, business consultant, financial planners, but what is your definition of a business consultant?
I think that a business consultant is someone that comes in and helps a business through an obstacle, or it helps them reach the next level of growth that they need. And in my case, I focus on helping businesses that are making a positive impact either on society or the environment, and I help them take their growth to the next level, find more customers, and retain the customers they already have.
Now, you were a winner of an event.
Yes.
And we were talking about that, which is kind of cool. And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
For winning a spot on the show. But also talking about being a business consultant, what makes you unique from every other business consultant out there? Like, I know you said to me what a business consultant is, but what defines you or separates you from the rest?
I think there's a few things, but the main one, I really believe that people buy why you do things more than what you do. And the reason why I do what I do is to make a positive impact and help businesses that are making that. So I focus on helping non-for-profits, businesses that support the environment, and anyone that has a positive purpose as part of their why.
So give us some examples of what you've done. Like, do you have a template, a strategy list? What have you done so far?
Yeah, the process that I follow is when I get a new client, I get an idea of their current situation on their business, and then we find out what makes them tick, what's their purpose for their business. And that's where we start, and then we develop a mission, a vision, and measurable objectives so they can track their success and make their day-to-day activities more focused on the final goal of what they want to achieve.
What's your niche?
I like working with businesses that have from, I would say, 5 to 25 supporters or employees. And when I say supporters, I mean maybe consultants. There's businesses in which there's 1 or 2 owners that work with semi-permanent consultants that give them support. So I want to work with organized businesses in that sense. And the main thing for me is the positive impact that business wants to make.
Well, you basically want to work with the decision makers.
Yes.
With the ones you walk in and they can make a decision right there on the spot, more or less.
Yes.
As opposed to have to go through all the red tape and the corporate
Yes.
and the board of directors and so forth.
And that is precisely the reason why I left corporate, because I found that I always had these new ideas of projects that we could do to improve the way things were, and they were more set in their ways. And now I find that every time that I'm talking to a client and I give them a new idea, they welcome it. So I really enjoy that about my work.
I mentioned earlier the fact that when we talk about working with as a business consultant, but it is a scale. You got to work on both sides of the scale. Because you work, I would say maybe small to mid-sized businesses, we categorize that as. But when you work with the owner or the owners, you work with them on a personal level as well, as maybe possibly like a life coach would, in that definition. Because you can't work with a business while working with the owners, because again, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
But most of them own their own business.
Yeah. I don't provide life coaching, even though I've met a lot of consultants that do business and life coaching as well. Like my own business coach, she works on mindset and business. I work mostly on the business, but at the same time, because I'm so into finding businesses with a positive purpose, that positive purpose starts from within. So we start their business strategy from their personal why, and why are they doing what they're doing.
Well, I hope they know why they're doing what they're doing. What do you define as a personal purpose? What does that mean to you in a definition?
It's pretty much the reason why you're doing that business instead of any other. Like in my case, for example, it's to feel
passion.
Yes. In my case, for example, I have a personal reason, which is using my talents to make a positive impact, feeling useful, And that would be my why. And that goes, that's my why for any project or business that I work in.
Okay, so let's talk about your why for a moment. What is your ultimate why? The reason, like your project, your dream project, or what you want to be when you grow up, in that sense?
Yeah.
Because it has to lead to something.
Yeah, I've actually, since I was in university, I always thought I wanted to be a consultant because I like building other people's dreams and other people's businesses. And my ultimate goal is to build an online business and develop online courses for companies that may not be able to afford one-on-one consulting. So I don't know if you know Marie Forleo, and she has a business, online business school. So that's what I would like to do in a few years.
So you like to educate?
Yes.
You like to educate?
Yes.
Absolutely. What is, in terms of, what else do you like doing in besides the business consulting? Is there anything else that you like to do in terms of the community and so forth? Because you're such a passionate person of what you do. What else is there that we don't know about Leyla?
Yeah.
Because we need to get to know Leyla to figure out why we should be working with Leyla, right?
Yes. I'm getting more and more into spirituality, yoga, and meditation, and more and more reading about self-improvement and finding ways in which you can crack the code on negative thoughts and how to overcome that. So I would say that takes a lot of my free time, and I'm passionate about that.
Now, we have to have a conversation off camera about that.
Yes.
That's really not that difficult to do, to tell you the truth.
Yes.
You told me a little secret. You're also an engineer.
Yes.
Which nobody seems to know about.
Yes. I studied industrial engineering, which is business engineering pretty much. So I'm taking all that knowledge and that way of thinking in terms of process, efficiency, improvement, and applying that to my consulting.
So how does the consulting, the engineering, the yoga, the holistic, how do you put that into a package and define who Leyla is?
Yeah, I would
Because I
say.
think you're discovering a different side of yourself, which sort
Yes.
of, it does.
And for some people, it's contradicting to say spirituality, yoga, and business and engineering, right? So I find myself starting friendships and finding clients that are also spiritual people, and that are people that do want to make money through their business, but it's not really about that. It's about a personal satisfaction of doing what you love and the impact that you're making for other people. So that's how I would relate those two things. And because I am a really logical person, I'm one of the few people who actually likes math and numbers. I find
That's
that
why you're engineer.
exactly one of the few. And I find that doing yoga and meditating balances out that super logical side that can get carried away. So,
Well, the funny thing is, all of us have that spiritual side to us, regardless of who you are. Some have discovered it, some are now trying to figure it out, and some of them don't know how to even ask about it.
yes,
Because, being in the business world, they forget about it. But it's a balance, regardless of how you look at it. So that's where, yes, when you start working with people, you will touch on the spiritual side, regardless of how you look at it. What do you message you want to send out to all your clients out there, or people to come and talk to you and work with you, and if they're looking to improve their businesses?
yeah, I would say that if you're a business that's small and that is trying to make a positive impact, like I mentioned, and you have a business obstacle that you want to overcome, or you just need some support to get to the next level, I can help you with that. Either by working on a project, or I also help my clients on a semi-permanent basis, pretty much taking a position at the company part-time. So I give support in all those different...
You have to.
Exactly.
You have to be in the business to help them to see how to run the
Yeah,
business. What's
most of them,
happening.
after the project ends, I stay part-time just helping with implementation. So I design solutions that are customized for every business, depending on what they need. If they need a little bit more coaching or consulting, I'm there for them. And I take projects that I'm passionate about because I want to really get involved in the business that I'm working with.
And that makes you very diverse in your background as well. How can we get in touch with you?
Yeah, my
Just go out there and
website.
say how you can tell
Yes. My website is leylarazeghi.com, LeylaRazeghi.com. And you can check me out over there and send me an email to me@leylarazeghi.com.
Well, I want to thank you so much and congratulations again for spending time with us. And I wish you all the best with these companies, because I do know that they need help, and I know they're crying and reaching out for help. It's just getting the right person to work with them. So thank you so much. And we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Willow Springs traditions originated from the 16th century, where the Testa family began winemaking practices. Their techniques have been passed on for generations, and through Willow Springs have made Canada home to their unique Italian recipes. Above the Oak Ridges moraine, Willow Springs Winery is inspired by its spring-fed pond, historic willow tree, and the surrounding atmosphere, which is both beautiful and serene. The unique experience at Willow Springs is complemented by their quality grapes in the 11-acre vineyard, freshly planted and carefully maintained. The wines themselves are crafted with passion, along with recognition from the Vintners Quality Alliance of Canada, have won numerous awards, adding to the overall prestige. Willow Springs high-quality wines offer a lasting impression with a rich taste, as exemplified by their award-winning 2010 Testa Pinot Noir, containing Ontario's finest grapes. As with the Pinot Noir, their red and white wines offer an exquisite variety of flavors, with lingering aromas and rich layers, making them irresistible and the perfect choice for every occasion. In addition, Willow Springs ice wines are also well recognized, with their 2007 Vidal ice wine obtaining a silver medal at the 2012 Royal Wine Competition. Bold, yet surprisingly smooth, this Vidal makes for a perfect dessert wine through its apricot and peach accents, along with subtle touches of honey. Willow Springs Winery makes for the perfect weekday or weekend quick getaway, being only a short distance from the city. Whether you're planning a company banquet, birthday party, intimate wedding, purchasing gifts, or just stopping by to witness the beautiful scenery and enjoy some wine tasting with friends, your experience at Willow Springs will be an unforgettable one. Willow Springs Winery. Minutes away, miles from ordinary.
Welcome back, and I am with a super fabulous woman who's dear to me, as you know, none other than Tamara Lisa Graham. Tamara, I am just going to go through past the introductions, everything, and just get down into you and I, girl. You know, thank you so much for everything you have done for us here. Myself personally, for Anthony and everything else on the show. I mean, and thank you so much for what you did on the, she's getting emotional already, on the anniversary show. Loved the set. I wish I could have taken the set and bring it with me. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Sheridan would let me do that. Mm. But there's so much we have to talk about. You know, I know today you'll be doing your color psychology workshop, which I'm super excited to do with you, because I can't wait to just revamp my office there as well. But tell us a little bit about color psychology, and really and truly, I think more people should get more involved and understand what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, color psychology has been around for eons, and a lot of cultures do use it when it comes to dressing, and I've actually incorporated it into interior decorating. Mm-hmm. So with color psychology and interior decorating, I bring wellness into people's homes by using colors on their wall. And everybody vibrates with different colors. And in the spiritual world, white light is a healing way of healing, but with colors in general, colors are the reflection of light. So it comes with the white light as well. So I'm incorporating it into interior decorating.
Okay, so let's take me, for example. Mm-hmm. Is this something you could watch someone and sort of have a sense, or you go through a certain a chart or ask questions? How does it work?
Well, we all resonate with a certain color. We all have our favorite colors, but then we all have a color that we dislike as well. So when you like a certain color, it talks a little bit about your personality and who you are. But that's totally different than the colors that personalize with each other. So yes, there is a questionnaire that I have come up with that categorizes people and what their true colors are, along with the different tints and tones of colors as well, because I mean, you could have a blue, but there's 50 shades of blue or 50 shades of gray, as you'd like to say, right? But yeah, depending really on what color vibrates with a certain person, there's also tints and tones as well that resonate with you.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I know as you go through a transition and journey, your colors can change based on your mood and your personality. I know for one thing, when I was growing up, I did not like red because my mom, everything was red and white. What I've learned is red was always a power color for me. I just didn't know it. I just resented it. I dismissed it. However, it's the opposite. As you can see, I have a red now because it is a power color for me. I just didn't know that. So again, I mean, it's taken me like over 50 years to figure that out. And then again, certain colors I used to like. I know I like the oranges and like the, the peaches and the warm colors and so forth and the purple. And I wasn't so much into purple then as I am now, but I know my kids were purple and pink. How does that work? Is that true in a sense?
Well, yeah, sure.
Yes?
Definitely. When we're children, we are growing up and we're growing into our true being. And red, as you say, is a very passionate color. It actually excites your blood and it makes it flow and your heartbeat and all that kind. It's a very powerful
why
color.
My blood is red.
Yeah. So when people wear it, it is a powerful color. But if you're using it in your home, depending if it's in a kitchen, in a bedroom, wherever it may be, it could be too much for somebody. It could actually make somebody very aggressive. So whether, again, it really depends on your personality and where you're using it in your home. And oranges and yellows, they are very warm colors as well. Orange actually increases your appetite and your stimulants. Yellow is a very vibrant color. But again, this stuff has been used in the past in hospitals and institutions and stuff like that, but it's never really come down to using it in your home. So it really depends on your personality, who's living in your home, and which room that you're using it in.
I remember my doctor's office had it wasn't a corn color, it's a yellowish, it's like a yellowish or greenish, which was very depressing too as well, but you don't see doctors' offices in a little bit more vibrant colors. It's always bland, dread colors.
Yes.
And I guess there's a reason for that. I'm not sure what it is. What else do we need to know or educate us more about the color psychology? Because I think we really need to get this feng shui and everything. It's all incorporated, is that correct?
Well, feng shui, it has a little bit to do with color, but color is not a feng shui thing. It's scientifically proven that it's a vibration of light. And again, it's been known for years and years and years, many thousands of years, that it's a reflection of light through a prism, through the white light and how it reflects light. And it's an energy. They actually have used temperature gauges to get, the temperature of the way the prism reflects the light. And each color has a different temperature. So when you use that in a room, it's really vibrating with your energies. So a lot of people that are on this spiritual journey of meditating and, just better things for your soul, this is something that I'm just incorporating to make them understand a little bit more about the chakras and the souls and everything else. So.
And as you mentioned chakras, I do recommend everyone to find out what that is. It's very powerful. It's very powerful, which pretty much is the wheel of the energy inside of us, so simply put. Let's talk about the spectrum, and let's talk about the funnel, and that's the list. We all talk about purple, which you are sort of wearing today, is on the top, the enlightening. It's very enlightening and transformational too as well, which is very powerful in the holistic spiritual world, as you know, because I talk a lot about it. I'm going to have one room here, which is going to be a version of purple, only because it brings out that, it's so calming and soothing, but it has a huge, huge impact on us on the spiritual journey.
Sure does. It does. It actually goes with our brow chakra, violets, purples, all that kind of stuff. And it is a spiritual color. Purple is a very highly magical spiritual color, and that's why a lot of people resonate with it, just because of the way that it comes into our soul, and we feel and we reflect that spiritual back. So
I know it does for me as well, because I do see, not to say that to disrespect anyone, but purple does resonate a lot with me in many different ways. You also have another business. You take furniture and you just make it look like magic. I mean, magically, I don't know what you do to them, but they're amazing. I've seen some of them. And you take something, so if you don't have any furniture, contact Tamara, she may or may not take it, and you transform it into something beautiful. So tell us a bit about that.
Well, I've always been creative ever since I've been a little girl, and I love furniture, especially like old furniture, antique furniture.
So do I.
And it's nice and it's heavy and it's real. It's
strong.
not like this IKEA stuff that's out any.
It's
I mean,
strong.
everybody will go to IKEA and spend a couple dollars. A couple of years later, it's broken or whatever. So why not repurpose a piece of furniture? Whether it's coming from a store and then I sell it, or if it's a piece of antique. And then a lot of people are starting to get rid of their wood antique that's been passed down from family member to
think that's
family
crazy.
member. Yeah,
There's so much value in that.
it is. There is. The details that are in the carved woods and stuff like that. And why not just, take it and give it a splash of color, something that matches with your home, antique it a little bit, stain it, repolster it in the funky material that's out there nowadays instead of the boring pinks or whatever was going on, the rose colors. Just adding that splash of color. It's going to cost you just as much to revamp something as going to IKEA and making, something coming
I totally
from,
agree. I totally agree.
not to put IKEA down
No,
or
no, no,
anything,
no,
but I
no.
mean,
I mean, when we started here at the studio, I mentioned, wasn't sure where we were going, and we ended up, and I love black and wood, dark wood. And so I ended up having black and dark wood. It just happened. My house is like that as well. You have an amazing project you're working on. She's a lady with many hats, by the way. Amazing project, and congratulations on the book. Tell us a
Thank you.
bit about the book. And I love the name. I love the name. And I know that's a near and dear, which is your story that started this whole journey.
I
So tell
did.
us a bit about the book.
I did. Soaring Through the Storm is the name of my book, and I'm compiling 30 inspirational stories of earth angels that have made it through the storm and ended out on top.
And you're a prime example of this. I mean, literally, you walked the walk, so now you're talking the talk. She's not just making this up. I just want people to know that you have walked this, and you've lived through this with your beautiful daughter, Karma. I cannot say anything without saying up mention Karma. I'm sorry. It was definitely so. But please go ahead.
So the book does start, it doesn't start with my chapter, but my chapter will be part of this book and guiding the other earth angels that are going to be resonating with this book as well. And a little bit about my story is I grew up in a single parent home to a mother that had lost her virginity to having me. And I was kind of put on the back burner of life as she was still very, very young. And trying to raise me single-handedly. She was still looking for love and put me on the back burner. I was always staying with family or living in her partying ways. And by the age of 14, I couldn't do it anymore. She was in a very abusive relationship, and I had to leave home and
You
ended
don't want
up.
to give too much of the story away.
No, I
They
know.
have to get
no,
the book.
there's lots to the story. Trust me. This is only bits and pieces. I did leave home and ended up on the streets, living a pretty harsh way of life. And by the age of 26, I had my daughter, my beautiful daughter, Karma. And that's when things started to change. I went back to school, got graduated with honors, and started my own business in interior decorating. And from there, I truly want to inspire others that it doesn't matter what walk of life that you come from, whatever you've been through, you can too make it out on top and own your game. And I just
Absolutely.
get shivers talking about it because it's a new concept. I never thought that I'd be an author, but helping.
Welcome to the world.
Yes.
Welcome to my world as
Yeah.
well. I mean, when I was going to transition, I had no clue. I didn't put my hand up when I was asked who want to write a book. And I'm teaching people how to write books now, which is amazing. How can we get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me by reaching out at tamara@tlginteriors.com. Anywhere on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest.
Yeah,
any
but on
type of social
Facebook, you're
media.
not Tamara, you're T.
No.
Lisa.
That's right. Miss T. Lisa.
Miss T. Lisa.
Miss T. Lisa, being an author and a color psychologist. Yes, you can reach me at T. Lisa Graham on Facebook. So,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
I just want to say, Tamara, for Tamara, I know Tamara's story. And, the book resonates so much with what she's saying. And you really have to get to know her, to hear her story, because you're an advocate, and we will be doing other things on a totally different level as well, how we can bring that story to life and help so many other women and men and kids who are going through that. And, it's just so much I can talk about you in terms of what you're doing. But I look forward to you, working together with the office and everything else. And you know what? You'll be back on the show with your beautiful daughter, Karma, who will be also having her own show as well. So I know I'll just leave in suspense for more for tomorrow, for down the road. But thank you so much for being here. And I love you to death.
Thank you for having me, Tian.
Thank you.
you.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. And we're here with Stephen Pandopulos. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Stephen, you have a very unique talent and hobby, I should say.
Yes.
And that has paid off really well, because now your own reality should call the...
Fatal the Game Master.
I can't say it as good as he does, because he has to say it the way he says it.
Fatal the Game Master.
Fatal the Game Master.
You gotta say it.
So tell me a little bit about what you do, and tell us a bit about the show.
Okay, well, it's based off of my YouTube channel, pretty much. Fatal K Gaming. And
What's
where
the K for?
Krauser, which is my game, which my name I go online by, Fatal Krauser. So it's based off my YouTube channel, Fatal K Gaming. And the show is pretty much me playing games, showing the audience what tips and tricks to do, how to beat the level, let's plays, playthroughs. Pretty much just playing the game like a game is supposed to be played. Just playing through it, having fun with the game. Because nowadays, gaming is just, people will buy a game and they'll skip the campaign and the story mode, and they'll go right to online. And when you ask them, how did you like the story, they have no clue what you're talking about, because they just play online, so they play with other people. So on the show, I'm playing the story mode instead of just jumping online. I'm showing them the actual game and what the story is, and all the hard work that these developers put in their game. I'm showing that on the show.
So you pretty much unveil the creative side of the show.
Exactly.
For them to fall in love with the show.
Yes.
And experience what the experience of the show really should be, and not just get obsessed and lost in the game.
Exactly. I want them to understand what the game is about, and not just the multiplayer side to it. Unless the game is multiplayer only, that's totally different, because then there's only the multiplayer side to it.
You have over 6,000 followers.
Yeah, 6.2 now.
6.2.
Yeah.
And that's really huge for you.
Yeah, that's,
because this is a hobby.
It's a huge milestone for hitting 6,200 subscribers, and just playing as a hobby. Like I'll make a video, and if it's like a secret or Easter egg is what we call them, a little hidden.
I still couldn't get over that Easter egg terminology.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to figure that out.
It's a little hidden gem in a game referencing something in the real world, or a movie or something. So whenever I find those in the game, I will make a compilation video of it and show my channel on it. And I just do it for fun. I just did it for fun. I would come home, make a quick video, upload it, edit some more videos for future videos, and I just kept getting subscribers, and people just kept following me. But for someone like myself with 6,000 subscribers, for someone that has 200 subscribers, that is a lot. For someone like me, seeing someone with 100,000 subscribers, now that's a lot. Right? So because YouTube is kind of like a giant competition, there's always 6,000 isn't the max. There's always somewhere higher to reach and a new milestone to hit.
Now, those you may or may not know have the answer for this, but those who have 100,000 compared to 6,000, is it because of you take more time with your audience and going deep down, so that's you spend more time with them? Is that the reason why possibly it's more quality as opposed to quantity?
Exactly. Yeah. I try, instead of uploading like 10 videos a day, I'll only have 2 a week or something like that. Instead of just rushing out videos, which anyone could do. Anyone could just play a game and start uploading each video, like 20-minute segments or something of the full game. And then if you have more videos up, then eventually it's going to get more viewers. If someone has 20 videos up of one game and I have one video up on that same game, that video, those 20 videos are going to get more views than my one video.
Absolutely. When this is all started, when did this start? When you were about 6, apparently?
Gaming started when I was 6, when my parents bought my first PlayStation 1. And I also had a Nintendo Entertainment System at my cottage, which I didn't know I had until I went to the cottage. But my PlayStation 1 was the first system I had with a game called Spyro the Dragon, which is still one of my favorite games, and I'm probably going to play that.
That's a little pink dragon, right?
The purple dragon.
The purple
yeah.
dragons.
Yeah.
I think I know that one.
It's still one of my favorite games, and I'm probably going to play that on the show as well. And
that's the one with the jewels?
yes, perfect. Yeah, so see, it's memorable. People remember what it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and so I started playing that game on the PlayStation 1, and then I started building my collection. And when I was younger, I didn't really have any value for the game. So because you're younger, you throw the disc away. Yeah, exactly. You're a kid. Yeah, but so a lot of my games broke over the years. Eventually, when I got the habit of collecting my video games, I started going to flea markets and all these stores, whatever, and just Value Village or something like that, and seeing secondhand games that people brought in.
Why not?
Right? And sometimes it's a game that's worth $80 and it's getting sold for $5. So I buy it and then I start building my collection. So now I have a huge collection of PlayStation 1 games, huge PS3 collection with over hundreds of PS3 games, and my PS4 collection has just started with only like 12.
So you mean you could retire soon with only decide to sell it off?
Yeah, if I sell it off, I can retire.
I understand that you knew exactly what you wanted to do.
Yes.
You knew exactly, you were, looking for a job, and we're going to switch a little bit. But you were so congruent of what you wanted in life that nobody could have changed your mind.
I was so persistent.
You were persistent,
Yeah.
and it paid off.
Yeah.
You stumbled into our lives, and it paid off. Literally
I got my
in
foot in the
24
door.
hours.
Yeah, it was literally in 24 hours.
Literally
the next
in
day,
24 hours.
got a show signed.
We got a show sign, and it actually aired as well.
Yeah, episode 1.
It
Episode 1
did.
is aired. Yeah.
And what's the feedback with that so far? Because you had said to me, a lot of people had, when you have a passion or love, a lot of people dismiss it,
Yes.
and disrespect
Because
it.
they don't understand your viewpoint on it.
But you, against all odds, you held out.
Kept going. Yeah.
And tell us some of the things that were said to you, because
Okay,
I know that meant, and that actually pushed you harder
Yeah.
to be more persistent at what
Oh,
you
yes.
wanted.
Oh yes. So the whole my whole maybe past 4 years, whenever I started getting my YouTube channel, I started getting more into it. I wanted to kind of do full time instead of a hobby. I wanted to keep going for it and put a lot of work into it. I wouldn't hang out with friends a lot because I kept doing videos, and people would understand. My friends wouldn't understand when I said "Hey, so I can't go out. I'm making some YouTube videos." They don't understand. It's just a YouTube video. Make that tomorrow or something. They don't understand the work.
I think you're obsessed.
Exactly. They don't think the work I'm putting into it, and
Hard work pays off.
yeah, and sorry, and through even, friends, family, a lot of people were close to me. I kept hearing people them telling me "Oh, you're a loser. Get a life. YouTube's never gonna get big for you. All that stuff. It's gonna go nowhere. You're gonna go nowhere for it. Get a real job." I keep hearing all these things, and I'm not gonna lie. At times, I lost my motivation. Should I really keep going with this? People are I'm just gonna keep hearing this negative feedback. Should I keep going with this? But I pulled through, and I just kept going through with it. No matter what people said to me, whatever I wanted to do, that's what I wanted to do. So if people that were close to me, even family, kept saying that stuff to me, I just ignored it. Was like, all right, cool, yeah, nice, thanks for your opinion. I'm gonna keep doing my videos.
That's an interesting thing you just said there. When you felt not motivated for everything that was said to you, you were still motivated. What was inside of you talking to you or telling you that you should keep going with this because you don't know where you're going to land?
My subscribers, my subscriber.
They were your biggest supporters and
subscriber-
family in that
exactly.
sense.
Whenever I get a comment on my YouTube video, I read it right away and I try to reply to every single one of them. And there's a lot of positive and a lot of negative feedback comments, which you have to expect in this
Of course.
YouTube world.
As anything in life.
In anything, yeah. But the positive outweigh the negative. So there's a lot of positive comments. People saying, I love your videos, man. You deserve more recognition. All these comments that I wish I heard my friends and family said to me. Now there were friends and family that supported me 100%.
No, I
till all
understand
the way
that. It's
through, but
different. It's
yeah.
different because somebody's actually appreciating what
Yeah,
you're
exactly,
doing.
exactly.
Looking from the outside coming in. What does this mean to you now that you're at the next level? Because we're talking about doing a book. We're
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
so many
So
things.
many
We're talking
ideas,
about
yeah.
learning,
Yeah,
teaching,
yeah.
how to, so forth. What does this all mean to you now?
It means the world to me. Like I said, it's a dream come true. It's something that I've always dreamt of my YouTube channel going in that right direction. When I first made the YouTube channel, I've always said, man, it would be awesome if one day if I just got a TV show, if I got big, like these big YouTubers are. And I'm like, but
You already said that?
yeah, to myself. And I said, how am I going to get my foot in the door to get to the 100,000 milestone? Because what YouTube does, YouTube actually gives out rewards when you hit 100,000 and when you hit 1,000,000. You get a silver plaque with your YouTube channel on it, and then you get a gold
We got
plaque.
to work on that.
Yeah, then you get a gold plaque with each channel on it.
Yes.
I said to myself, I always want one of those to hang up in my wall in my room or somewhere. And I see myself slowly going towards 10,000 subscribers. I kept saying to myself, how will I get my foot in the door to get me to 100,000 and even higher than that? Because of course, eventually I'll hit 100,000, but I don't want it to wait 30 years for that, So how can I get my foot in the door to make that number go up quicker? And this opportunity landed in both our laps. And we jumped right onto it and loving it so far.
Now you have a very unique way of doing it. You tape it as well, but you have yourself inserted in there so people can see you
In the camera, yeah.
as well as in the camera, which is interaction. Of course, you're going to be having a
Yes.
poll, and there's so many
Yeah.
cool
I'm
things
doing-
that come up on your website
Yeah.
because you do have your website
Yeah,
now.
the
too,
website
as
the
well.
website is up. It's still in development, but the whole poll and the questions and the episode guide is all up now. I actually put that in today. So people.
He's building his own website too. Eh? The guy's a genius. He's a master. What's your website?
It's fatalthegamemaster.com. That's it, just like that. Just like my name.com. And there's a poll section there now, actually, where people can vote for episode 3, what game they want to put in episode 3. And I'm going to update it every week for a new list of games. And
There's a cool way he's going to be doing all of that, to be so intrigued as well. I know my son is heavy into games as well with his friends, and they play it, in the night and went from school. But what are the top 5 games right now? If you have to mention, the games that's out there, because I don't know any of the games.
okay,
So
one of the highest.
I know Call of Duty, I think, is one
Yes,
of them.
I would say yes, yes.
I know that one.
If I would have to list them, I would say Call of Duty, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto, the sports games like FIFA and like NBL and all, MLB, NHL, all that stuff, and probably racing games like Gran Turismo or Forza. So each genre, there's one huge one for each genre.
One of the interesting things for my son, I would say to him, you should be doing this and this and this, as opposed to these games. And the funniest thing is, I know when I was, reading my chakra book, I hear about chakras and so forth.
Yeah.
He knew all about these things in games. He knew about history. He knew about Castro. He knew about Cuba. He knew about, because there's some of these games
Yes.
that incorporate history,
Yep.
live events, whatever you want to call it, in the games.
That was
and
the
I
Call of
was
Duty one.
so, honestly, I was really, really embarrassed and shocked at the same time to know that he knew all about this.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of positive
Yeah.
that they implant in there where, don't get me wrong, there's some games are just games. And
Yeah.
there's you have different scales of games. Some are very for kids and,
Yeah.
you have to be very cautious, don't get me wrong. But I was very surprised. And then he literally showed me that they went back in history and time
Yeah.
and so forth and explore all these different countries and generation, whatever you want to call it. But that's part of games too.
Yeah.
I don't know which games they were in. But,
Those were the Call of Duty games, specifically Black Ops 1 for that Castro
Yes.
thing. The Call of Duty games, incorporate a lot of real world history into the games, and sometimes it's kind of made up history, right? Like for example, like the newer ones are all future, right? It's stuff that are actually in development now in
Okay,
the
we
army.
can't knock
you know?
future. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Lost in Space and look at Star
Yeah.
Trek. Who thought, going back in
Exactly.
the 60s, we would be in this day and age?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to disrespect anybody when they're
Yeah.
introducing anything as well.
But a lot of games, like you said, are just games. Like Little Big Planet, that game I showed you with on episode 1, where you're jumping across the levels. That's just a game. But what you can do with that game is that you can make your own levels. So it kind of gives people to that creative aspect to it, right? And then there's also games like the racing games where it's kind of like a simulation with real
Yeah,
life
I've done
cars
those.
in them,
I've
right?
been in those. I've
Yeah.
done some of those, kind of get off the track and
Yeah.
into the water and off the cliff, and
Yeah.
been some of those as well. What's next for Fatal the Game Master in terms of yourself and the show?
Okay,
and the next game you will be playing on the show?
Yeah, okay.
If you want to get that little well, of course you want to, because you want your audience to get
Yes.
prepared and get ready
Yes.
for the next week.
So,
So that's something you'll be sharing with them every week.
Yes.
It's the next game, correct?
Exactly, yeah. So what I plan on doing with Fatal the Game Master is the poll on the website, where the viewers can now vote what game I'm going to be playing next, instead of me choosing myself. If the vote doesn't get enough, if the poll doesn't get enough votes, then I'll just choose a game at random. But I want the viewers to interact with the show. And then there's also a comment section where viewers can ask a question, and I will choose a few of them and answer them on the show after the credits or something like that. And would you like me to say the next episode?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I
so-
mean, we want them to know this is live. We want them to know so they can get prepared for the next show.
So the next episode 2 is going to be a classic game. It's going to be Toy Story 2: Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue.
I can't believe
Yeah.
that. I mean, I still think of it as a movie, not a game, for goodness sake.
because like I said, there's video games for everything.
I
and
know,
there's
I
a lot
know.
of movie tie-in games too. That game specifically.
That time when you're doing the Shrek one.
Yes, yeah. That Toy Story 2 specifically was one of my favorite games growing up as a kid. When that movie came out, because it's my favorite movie ever. When that movie came out and the game came for it, I got it right away, and then lost it. Like I said, it broke on me, so I lost it. I never got to get it again, and I couldn't find it in stores, couldn't find it on Amazon or any of that stuff, until one day I went onto a store on Lawrence over here, and it was called Swap Shop, and I walked in, and
There
the
it
game was
was.
right there on PS1. So $17, I think, and I bought it, and then I can play that game with my eyes closed, and I know where everything is. So I'm going to show that on the show.
When is the show aired?
It airs at 4 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, with a rerun at 1 a.m.
And where is it?
Win HD Caribbean for Rogers and Bell 5. Rogers 676, I think.
672.
672,
And
sorry.
Bell 5, 659.
659, yeah.
And you also will be in other, it will be on NVPI TV.
And it'll be on both our sites.
Yeah, all the broadcasting channels, because we want to know that this is also, it is local, but it is
Yep.
international, because
Yep.
a lot of people play games internationally. Well, again, what is the website to go to?
So the website to go to is fatalthegamemaster.com, and you can check out the episodes on nvpitv.com.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank you so much, Stephen. And I know it's indeed a pleasure. When I heard about this project, we just jumped in it because it just made sense. We were looking for unique projects.
It made lots of sense, yeah.
It really, but you know your stuff. That's amazing. It's effortless. And thank you so much for believing in us and giving
Yes.
us the opportunity to work with you on this as well. So, I know there's so much going to happen, and we're going to really take this to the next level to make sure you can get your, forget the silver or whatever plaque it is. We're going
Gold?
to go for the gold.
Yeah, that's the plan.
We're
Thanks
going to go
for...
for the gold. But thank you so much, and good luck, and I wish you all the best with
Thank
that. And the sky's the limit to what you really want. I want to say to everyone, in terms of with Stephen, no one, when you have something in your core, in your heart, and you want it, no one should actually, disrespect you. They should, support someone, support them. And I can't put this into words, because what Stephen has proven, and he, stood up for so many years, and he held back on what he wanted, and now he's gotten his dream literally in 24 hours. And I
24
cannot
hours.
stress that enough. So sometimes, it's just being in the right place in the right time, and, do ask for what you want, because you might just be surprised what's knocking on your door. So until next time, I want to thank all my guests, and thank you so much, Stephen.